big stretch. What up, what up, what up? I thought I'd jump on for a few minutes, give you guys a couple updates, stuff I've been checking out that I thought maybe you guys might want to hear. Y'all know how we do it. It's just a listening session, so the black screen is normal. It is meant for you to hear my voice and the audio that is playing, so you can concentrate on that if you choose. All right, so this first video that I'm going to play is from one of my girls. Tay says, y'all know it, or how do you say her name? Tisa, what's it? So I'm going to, what's up, everybody? I'm going to play this video. This is just some stuff over the P. Diddy case, as you guys know. Yeah, I know. It's all good, white boy. I have to get to know people a little bit before I mod them. I've had some really bad experiences on the internet. So once I get to know you and know, I think you're cool, but I just want to make sure, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing. I have a survivor channel, so it's not nothing personal. Don't take it personal. But I'm just real picky on who I throw wrenches to, because, well, you know, motherfuckers be shady on these streets out these ways. They don't know what time it is. So I've removed some wrenches and, you know, all that. So please no one ever take that personal. I'm going to be even probably removing some more wrenches in all honesty, because I feel like I have a little too many. No one's getting wrenched today, so don't ask. Sorry. Love you, James. Love you, everybody in the chat. Yeah, not going to happen. Y'all have to understand, I have a survivor channel, so and I've been through a lot because of the internet. Y'all, let's not, you know, for those that don't know, I had a whole stalker and all I've been through a lot on this internet, so I don't really mod a whole lot of people. With all that said, yeah, chats are more fun being blue anyway, so, you know, the people that have been my mods for probably as long as I've had my channel. So that goes to show you how quick I don't give my wrenches out. So anyway, what we're here to talk about today is I'm going to give you guys some updates. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. And to everybody that I'm a wrench in your chat, I say thank you and I appreciate you, and I would never do anything to your channel. Just understand my internet thing has not been the same as everybody else's, so I'm a little bit more cautious than most people. And those that have been supporting me for a long time know the last 3 years on this internet has been, I mean, somebody's went to jail because of it, so there's that. Anyway, that's not what I really wanted to talk about today. Anyway, so I just came on real quick to do a couple little updates, so you guys can hear and keep the information going, right? Because there's a lot coming out. There's a lot of, and of course, everything that I share, listen, he hasn't been convicted yet. I can share my personal experiences and my professional experiences because I am a human trafficking survivor and I am someone that does work in the anti-human trafficking movement. And so that's why I share a lot about certain things, because sometimes people don't understand how certain things work. And because I lived through it, and not only lived through it, but I also did something that a lot of my friends couldn't, and not because they couldn't, it's because of monsters, right? Not because of them. My friends were fucking warriors, but they're no longer with us. So I have chosen to just use my voice whenever I can. And so we have this big P. Diddy case. Allegedly, which I believe and wholeheartedly in every single thing he's being accused of. There's not one thing that I've heard and been like, nah, he ain't do that. Nope. If you've listened to the underground world for a long time, you already know this is going on. If you are part of the music culture, you already know this is going on. This is not a big surprise to some people. So, anyway, today we are going to talk about, so we've heard allegations or rumors that right before the feds picked Diddy up, he was trying to pay victims and survivors off. Well, let's listen to a video from my girl, because, you know, she's always breaking some stuff down. So we're going to listen to that. And then I think I have Oh, I'm gonna play an interview from the lawyer, and I'm gonna play this video first, and then I'm gonna play a video. I'm only play two videos today, and then I'm gonna play a video from the lawyer of the 120 cases because I think he's been doing a lot of speaking. I have to say I like him, but we're gonna get into that in a minute. Let's get into what Tess is saying.
That was partying, and I mean a capital P, with Sean Diddy Combs. Do you know that they are now, first of all, the Busby law firm has said that they have gotten over 12,000 calls within the last 48 hours about Diddy and things leading to these cases. On top of that, do you know that this is no joke? A-listers are quietly paying off victims to make sure their names never come out. Y'all, let's get into this because everybody wants justice to be served, but I guess justice is being served basically to avoid being publicly shamed. And I don't blame them because I wouldn't want this to come out either. Listen to this. Directly from the New York Post, directly from the mouth of Tony Busby. Diddy's A-list pals are quietly paying off victims to avoid being publicly named. They said some big name celebrities are quietly paying off victims to avoid being publicly named. Did somebody check Kevin Hart's bank account? I'm just saying. To avoid being publicly named in lawsuits related to Diddy's sexual assault cases, according to a lawyer.
Hey everybody, what's up? Food Toy, hey sweetie. Make sure you guys hit those thumbs up. We're just doing a quick. I'm gonna do like two videos, just some updates about what's going on, um, and all that good stuff. So it won't be a long video, but it'll hopefully be an informative video.
Attorney Tony Busby, who is representing more than 120 of Diddy's alleged victims, told TMZ that huge stars are about to be sued by his firm, and he's giving them a chance to settle up before the claims hit public court. And they're saying a gang of celebrities have opted to settle. Now, here's the thing. It's unclear whether what they're settling for are assaults, if it was consensual, if it wasn't consensual. The point of the matter is there was a freak off, there was a camera, and people were caught in for.
And I'm gonna say this: I've had a lot of people say, you know, Summer, there are people that are adults. They go to parties. Parties get wild sometimes. Yeah, I know. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about you know what I mean, a party or after hours or something, and it got a little crazy, but you know, everybody was consensual, everybody knew what was going on, everybody was aware of the choices they were making. I don't have a problem with that. Just so y'all know. I don't have an issue with adults doing nightly or daily, whatever, adult activity. I don't, like I said, even everything that I've been through, because I'm not a person that thinks that anybody should be forced to do anything. I don't care what it is. I know that from being from the adult industry and being a part of the music industry, not being a part of it in the sense of I was a musician, being a part of it in the sense of I was a stripper. um, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Come back. No more spamming. Next time you'll get blocked. Don't spam my chat. Anyway, you can write, you can be silly, you can do all that kind of shit, but don't spam my chat. Yeah, we're not talking about things like that. We're talking about things where people walked into a party and thought it was going to be one way, and they had drugs slipped in their drinks, or maybe allegedly through baby oil. However they were doing it. When you take the choices away from people, and also, allegedly, there were minors at this party. So, yeah, I don't think any of these celebrities should be able to hide behind a deal. See, this is the problem that we came in and run into in the Epstein case and a couple of all of them really, because all the victims and people predators that you guys may hear about, they're not the only ones. Diddy didn't do this shit by himself. He did not do this shit. He did not get to be a by the way, y'all might want to check his net worth too, because he's not a billionaire anymore. Anyway, and actually from what it looks like, he might be going broke real quick. Because you know, all the lawyer fees and settlements he's been doing, yeah, homie ain't got as much money as he thought. See, this is another thing which y'all don't realize about these celebrities. Their lifestyle gets like how would you say it? Cosine. It's almost like if you're a big time creator, people will they will send you things to advertise. They will send you to a restaurant. Like for me, even me, and as local and little as I am in my community, I have people that'll do my hair. I have people that do my nails. I'll have people that'll, do certain like, hey, Summer, you're going somewhere really nice. Do you need a gown or something like that? Because I have a lot of people that follow me. And I'm a very small creator. I mean, especially on YouTube. But on my other platforms, I have a little bit, but still very small compared to things. I'm using these examples to show you all. When you're somebody and people pay attention to you, whether it's you're a low level local person, what they call like a class C, you know what I mean? Like, just be like, in the community, people love you, like whatever. Or you're a B, or you're a mega celebrity where cars and houses and clothes and all this shit gets sponsored. So we all look at these people. Plus, I've been in a couple videos. I can tell you a lot of them cars and houses are rented. Okay. But we get gaslighted to think that these people are just these luxurious people and they have all this luxury shit. Well, don't get me wrong. At one point, the Piddy was a billionaire. His net worth was definitely worth $1 billion. Not so much anymore these days, though. Anyway, I kind of got on a tangent right there. Let me stop and play some of this video. What's up, Alyssa? How you doing, baby? I hope you're having a wonderful day.
Okay, and they are now paying through the nose. And you know what? I don't blame them because that was Diddy's stupidness. I know he
Okay, my bad. I was scrolling and I forgot where I was going with that, so my bad on that. Welcome to Survivor's Brain. I know where I was going with that. In the Epstein case and all these other different cases, they get to hide behind paying people off. Like this case, as big as it is, I can promise you, there's tapes being sent around to lawyers and saying, "Hey, you want to buy these tapes?" That's what she's talking about right now. They're trying to bribe victims. They're trying to do all this stupid stuff. So none of them have to be held accountable. And in all honesty, us as American people, no, fuck that, because, this show's international, baby. Us around the world, we need to start taking a stand and stop with the bullshit with these people. You want a fucking celebrity? Go find somebody like Eli, or go find somebody, hell, anybody that's doing good work in their community, honey. You know what I mean? Like, go and do that, because that's who you should be lifting up. People that are literally making a difference in your lives, in your communities. These goofy motherfuckers ain't making no difference in nobody's life. They just not. That's like the 1% politicians that we talk about. Everybody wants to fight over them. They don't give a fuck about you or me. I'm glad you're here too, sweetie. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they don't care about us. We have to stop putting our money, we have to stop putting all. What's your thoughts on wedgies? You probably should pick it out if it has an issue. But we have to stop doing that. We have to start gassing ourselves up. You know what I mean? Celebrating the people around us that are actually doing shit. We give all these fucking idiots these money, and what do? They turn around and do all this kind of shit, teaching everybody's communities. Like, no, dude. And it's not gonna stop, just so everybody knows. This isn't gonna magically stop just because Pdiddy is going down, because he's never gonna get out of jail. He actually does have court, I think tomorrow, for another bail hearing. I don't believe he's gonna get out at all. But yeah, let's go back to the video. I'm just rambling at this point. My bad.
Big hit with Cassie. And I know he probably didn't want to pay Little Rod, but it's one of those things. Do you want to be broke for the next year or two, but you can make it back? Or do you want to be broke forever?
Oh,
it seems like Diddy didn't think that being broke forever was an actual option. But baby, now he broke, depressed, destitute, and isolated and lonely. Who knew? They said in every single case,
no, that's what he gets.
Especially cases like this, because of the best interest of the victim. Okay, so this wasn't consensual since they're calling them victims. Okay, we attempt to resolve these matters without the filing of a public lawsuit, and we've done that already with a handful of individuals.
Yeah, girly. Love you to death, but yeah, ain't nobody paying out on consensual shit, so of course there's victims involved in this. My bad.
Many of which which you've heard of before. Oh, you've heard it before. Does that mean it's a names floating around? I have heard Kevin Hart's name. I've heard Stevie J, although I hardly call him an A-list celebrity. I've heard
He is not
Ashton
an A-list
Kutcher.
celebrity.
Is Ashton
He's a
Kutcher
rat.
A-list celebrity? Who are these A-list celebrities? We need to. Anyway, so they're saying that Busby will separately be lodging a slew of lawsuits. Now, at first, I heard this was going to be a class action. Unfortunately, with a class action, a lot of people didn't want to do that because only the first 2 or 3 people get paid.
Well, and not only that, but they're not doing it because the lawyer said they're not doing it because he wants each and every single victim that can get any kind of justice, whether it's civilly or criminally. He wants them to be able to do that. So that's why it was actually never put off. And sorry, girl, love you to death, but it was actually everybody assumed that it was a class action suit because there were a lot of numbers coming out before they did their press conference on how many cases they have been picked up. Um, but yeah, it was never a class action suit. I will continue. Like I said, I thought it was at first too because I assumed it was because of the amount of people. But the lawyers never once said it was ever, and he said it from day one since the press conference. This will not be a class action suit because we want each and every one of the victims to get the help that they need and justice that they deserve.
Huge, and everybody else has to split the proceeds because everybody's case has so much merit. They all choose to navigate them differently. But of course, here's the thing. If you have 120 people, they said they have had at this point over 15,000 calls. The first 3,085 plus 1,200. So let's just say it's 15,000. And they've already, because they're vetting everything, and they've already vetted 120 people that they feel like are legit. My question is, how many A-list celebrities did y'all contact? Are these the same people on various tapes? Or are these 120 different celebrities that people are all going after? I'm not going to lie. I do wish the names could come out because if they are victims and it wasn't consensual, I would want the names to come out just to keep other people safe.
Right.
It's fine finding a celebrity on Brea.
That's the only thing that like sucks, right, in these situations. And it was done in the Epstein, it was done in the Weinstein, it was done in the Cosby, it was done in all of these fucking cases that it continues to do. And you will continue to hear me say, and I do a lot of court advocacy work. I do a lot of stuff like this, and so I'm not just somebody. Not only am I a survivor, but I'm not just somebody that doesn't know what she's talking about. And what really, 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 really sucks about this whole situation, courts are not set up for victims. They're just not. What's up, Benny? How you doing, baby? Um, they're not. The courts are not set up for victims at all, and it really sucks because like there'll be a lot of deals. I can promise you that there are some lawyers working some pretty hefty fucking deals out right now. Right now, and I'm not even necessarily talking about pitiful Pdiddy. I'm more talking about some of these, celebrities, high, higher up or even low level celebrities that are making deals with everybody, and a part of that'll be, their names aren't being released. I personally think that's bullshit. Um, I think that they shouldn't be able to hide behind any of this because you're just protecting predators, in my opinion, to an extent. I think that if they're involved in shit like this, and especially since the public is the one that funds them with their merch and their shows and their movies and their music and all that shit, we should have a right to know if they're involved in shit like this. But what they'll do is, and I've told you all this from the beginning because they did the same thing in the Epstein trial. Um, and I was in New York. I went for that. We did a rally. We went up there. We was there. It's on my Facebook page. I mean, not my. Well, it's on my Facebook too, but it's on my YouTube page. Um, and they even with the Epstein, they put out this list of names that have already been around, that people have already talked about. It's the same group of people that everybody talks about. They ain't the only people. In some sense, I believe like they're the hedgehog. Like they're the big people. But they're not the big people. So I just think it's bullshit that this continues to happen, and unfortunately, I see the setup in this case as well doing the same thing. So I know everybody's going to scream and yell until they're blue in the face. give us the celebrities. Good luck.
And being like, oh, that's cool. But then to know they might be on the Diddy tapes.
I can say that you can listen to Survivors and you would already know who these motherfuckers are, but you all don't look. Not you all, but in general, I'm speaking. People don't listen to us. Victims and survivors have been speaking up for decades. No one listens to us. They don't believe us. They tell us we're liars because it's their favorite musician, politician, actor, actresses. It's weird.
Diddy files? No, I want to know exactly who this is. Anyway, they said he's going to be filing separately a lodging of a slew. He's going to be lodging a slew of lawsuits, including on behalf of 25 minors, beginning this month.
And I'm sorry. Any of these motherfuckers that are put now again, remember how I said 30 to 60 days, 30 to 60 days, 6 months tops. These lawyers, if you know how to pay attention, I'm just going to give you the heads up. If you know how to pay attention to court dockets, now you got to look in cities, you got to look in states if they're Pacific court dockets and all that kind of stuff. But if you know how to do that, if you start paying attention, there will be names that might be retracted, especially as far as victims and especially if they're minors. But these court papers are all going to start being filed. You know whose job it is to pay attention? If you want to know, whoever's listening to my voice, figure out how to FOIA request shit.
He has first sent out demand letters notifying others who will be sued in addition to Combs. In fact, he said he'll be aggressively going after anyone who saw the alleged abuse occur and failed to protect victims. He said, if you were there in the room, participated, watched it happen, and didn't say anything or help cover it up, in my view, you have a problem. A lot of people saw this activity going on. A lot of people allowed it to go on and said nothing, didn't intervene. All these individuals and entities have exposure. Again, the names are not going to come out this week. They said everyone is focused on what other celebrities were involved, who's going to be named, and who's going to be outed. I don't expect that to happen this week. We want to make sure we name individuals beyond Diddy, that we have done our homework, because it is going to create a firestorm, and we understand that.
Yes, it is. It's going to create a firestorm, just like it does with every one of these cases. And what's going to happen is there's going to be tons of people arguing and telling victims and telling survivors and telling people that believe victims and survivors that they're all liars and don't nobody knows shit, right? One thing that I love about this particular lawyer, because in all of this, and granted, all of this has just started, but in all of this, I love the fact that he's going after hotels. You know, the hotels that we heard about, like him renting 2 floors out so they can have these parties. We've done stories on it. Go back and look at the videos. It might be here, it might be in members only. I put a lot of stuff in members only, so the members can see it first. I put videos that I might not go over with you guys, but I think maybe you all should hear. Anyway, he's going after pharma. He's going after doctors. So doctors that are tied, okay? Something you all need to understand. Doctors that are tied into this stuff. There are certain types of drugs that these people are getting that you can't get unless you have a doctor on payroll, okay? And if you think about all these different celebrities, right? These doctors' names usually, sometimes they get leaked out, sometimes they don't get leaked out. But it's the same group of doctors, okay? Whether you're on a celebrity status or you're on a street status, I can promise you that on a celebrity status or a street status, there are doctors that you ain't ever got to go to a hospital. You get shot, they'll fix the gun wound. You get raped, they'll do whatever they can to help you, except reporting it. So there's all kinds of shit that happens. You think about all these celebrities, Michael Jackson, all these different celebrities, Prince, that, they all OD'd off of medicine these doctors were giving them. And this lawyer is like, you know what? I'm going to let the feds and them handle some of y'all this way. But I'm going to go after the hotels and the doctors. And honestly, they need to look into the coroners too. Because if you look at some of the paperwork, Or if you know some things, some of the same coroners are involved in all this shit too. Just saying. Oh, let me shut up.
Yeah. Again, you know that they had freak off sessions with male workers, S workers, that lasted days. And I know what everybody's saying. Oh my God, like, blah, 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 blah. But I find it interesting that it was only male blank workers. And I find it interesting what's going to happen when we find out the deaths of what he did. Because people don't traditionally look at men as victims with this. I wonder if Diddy
Right.
was even more brutal or treated them worse. If that's even possible, because
And that is the unique thing about this case. Because as you know, you all hear me talk about survivors, and there's tons of male survivors. Tons. There's male survivors around you that you may not even know. We've created a society where men can't speak up. We've created a society to where if something happens to men, they get shamed. Well, unfortunately, and not because I think it's a great conversation and I want everybody to have it, but I'm glad that people are forced to talk about male victims because people don't want to talk about male victims. We're comfortable as a society as looking at males as predators, but we don't want to look at males as victims. And guess what? Sorry, y'all, there are male victims. Whether people want to like that, wrap that around. I even know some survivors that are just like, nah, men ain't victims. Yeah, men can be victims as well. And I'm one of the many, many, many survivor women that will tell you that yes, there are lots of male victims out there, and we have to start making spaces for them to also heal and be heard. And that's just the way life has to be, in my opinion.
I think Busby even said that one of the women was preggo and experienced tearing to her nether regions. Again, feds claim Diddy carried out the abuse for more than a decade, often using violence and threats of violence to get his alleged victims to comply. He also, according to people, were putting in spiked drinks. He also tried to coerce.
And listen, you guys, they're talking about that liquid G shit. Let me tell you something. I've had that shit put in my drink. That shit is no joke. And when you get that shit put in your drink, I was at a club. I was actually at a club I used to dance at, and I was sitting with somebody, and my dumbass left my drink on the fucking table. I can't. We'll see. I went to the bathroom. I came back. I took a drink of my drink, and then I went on stage to go dance. And the stuff had hit me. I ended up in the hospital. Let's just say that. So you can end up really, really hurt, and you don't know what the fuck is going on with that shit if somebody spikes you. And in a drink, you can't taste it. Now, if you drink it solo, if you do like, because I mean, that was a big thing back in the day when I was younger, especially up in Chicago, everybody in the rave clubs and shit used to do that shit. I just don't, I never understood it, couldn't fuck with it, but whatever. There were people that did, and some people said that it tastes like soap. So, I don't know.
Tried to bribe, tried to pay people's rent. Literally, his reign of terror is over. In a wake of the arrest, victims have begun coming forward with legal claims and stories of alleged abuse. Diddy and his legal team have claimed the freak-offs were among consenting adults and have denied he ever abused anyone, including minors. Diddy's mama also denied. If you didn't see my live last night, Janice Combs wrote an ill-advised letter to the public.
I'm going to go over that tomorrow because I don't feel like dealing with his mom right now. But let me tell you, she put it out. You can also look it up on YouTube. It's everywhere. Um, I personally think his fucking mother's a groomer. I do. I'm sorry. I get those groomer vibes from her. I get abuser vibes from her. If you listen to the Rattles on the Streets back in the day, she used to be a PIM. So again, that's allegedly. I don't have any proof, so bitch, don't come sue me because I ain't got shit. But she definitely gives me groomer vibes. She definitely something's not right about that lady. Something's not right about his mama.
Like, I guess as a mother, she had to let us know she's standing by her man. We said, boo, go sit down, Miss Combs. We have respect for elders, but you can get it too, because at the end of the day, how did you not know that this was going on? Okay? I know you're saying that your baby.
I have no respect to her because she knows what's been going on. She's been to some of those parties. She wears the white nail polish that he has his sex workers and girlfriends wear because that's a thing for him. It's a thing. It's kind of sick because he also has his mother and his daughters wear white nail polish when he wants because that's what he prefers. But then he also has his sex workers and girlfriends and all these people also wearing it as well. So it's kind of fucking weird to me. Um, sorry, just ranting.
He's innocent, but 15,000 calls in over 48 hours. Okay. You know, the bulk of them, which came over in 48 hours, that is a lot. Again, they said a bunch of famous people everyone has heard of are going, this is from the lawyer, are going to be sued by his law firm in the coming weeks. Those demand letters have been sent out. You have been put on notice. So we have to ask ourselves, who's going to be broke in the short term or who's going to be broke forever? Again, it's not my place to say. I am not a victim. It's not my place to say. I do wish that we could somehow find out the names of these perpetrators because I think it'll keep the public at large very, very safe, you know? But at the end of the day, who are we to tell victims how they should recover their costs and recovery? But I hope for the public's sake, I hope the feds are on it. I hope Busby has shared information with the FBI and feds because, again, we want to get victims justice, but we want to make sure that there are no new victims. Because if you believe that Diddy is he's still evil, he's going to pay, but as a product of his environment, we need to actually know, like, where the environment is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be live later. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
My bad, y'all. Sorry. The video in? Yeah, I did. All right, my bad, y'all. I had to. I'm getting a tail light fixed. I had to fix that. All right, so I'm going to play one more video. And this video. Okay. So this video is with the lawyer, Tony Busby. He is the lawyer of the 120 victims. And he went on Chris Hansen's show. I have not watched this yet. I seen it yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it to listen with you guys. So we're going to listen to this real quick. This will be the last video I play today. Just wanted to, again, give you guys a little updates on what's going on.
Coming up, an interview with the lawyer representing more than 100 victims of Sean Diddy Combs, some of whom were underage. It seems not a moment goes by without another very disturbing allegation against the music impresario Sean Diddy Combs, now being accused by Homeland Security and federal prosecutors of operating a major human trafficking and sex exploitation ring. And Tony Busby, who's a lawyer based in Houston, Texas, represents now more than 100 survivors, victims, allegedly, of Diddy. And Mr. Busby joins me now from Houston. Sir, thank you for being with us today.
Glad to be here. Chris, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Disturbed by all this, though, we've been investigating predators
So you all can see.
for decades now, and I'm at a loss to describe an alleged case this big, this violent, and this disturbing. How do you get your arms around representing more than 100 alleged victims, survivors of one man?
It's difficult.
What
It's
up, 420?
obviously very administrative intensive. You have to treat each one of these cases on its own merit. We've received at this point 3,500 calls of people who either claim to be victimized by Sean Combs or have information they want to share about him, some sort of interaction they had with him and things that they saw. So it's very tough. We have about 90 people who are attempting to vet these claims on the front end. And then we have retired Houston police officers, including people that were in the major crimes unit here, who are assisting us in running down witnesses, collecting texts, pictures, video, that sort of thing. We want to make sure, because it's such a high profile case, because there's a lot of media attention, we want to make sure that it's done by the numbers and done correctly. So, we've been working on this probably for 6 months. Obviously, after the indictment and
Now think about that. He just said that he's been working these cases for about 6 months. The indictment, like when did he get arrested? Not that long ago, right? So again, this continues to show that, it wasn't just like, oopsie daisy, let's all go after him. No, victims have been speaking up. Once he got indicted, it was a wrap. Once he got picked up, it was definitely a wrap. And again, he has court, if I'm not mistaken, he has court tomorrow morning. He's putting a bid in to try to get bond again. I don't think it's going to happen. Not the way his lawyers and him have harassed and victim shamed and all these different things. Cases like this, that shit doesn't go like that. I can promise you that. People can think they can play with their victims in their cases. And yes, why some will. And unfortunately, that's how victims lose their life. That's how victims sometimes unalive themselves. They back out of cases, all that. And that's what they want to do, right? They want to intimidate them. Well, Homeland Security and them is not going to play with that. So no, I don't think he's going to get out. I think he will get yet again denied. But I just wanted to make sure you all heard that. These lawyers have been working on this. Because some people are like, oh, well, as soon as he got arrested, everybody wants to start throwing lawsuits on him. No. They've been investigating his ass for a long motherfucking time.
specifically after Sean Combs's bail was denied for the second time, I think
you can have them
that
long as I
kind
never
of
drink my
opened the
last one.
floodgates. I think people are very fearful of Sean Combs and his entourage.
Well, that's fine.
He's perceived to be, connected with some sort of criminal element on the one hand, but also very friendly with people who in power and also with other celebrities. So he's very quick. These victims will tell you that when they would cry out or complain about certain things, he would be very quick to make these either explicit threats or implicit threats about them speaking to anyone about the conduct that they had seen or been involved in. So the floodgate.
I think you raise a critical point here, Mr. Busby, in that one of the reasons his bail was denied was because of this allegation of violent witness
Exactly, Shelley.
And now that he's clearly going to be held without bail, based upon what we've seen in the courts in New York, it would seem that a lot of these victims would feel safe coming forward. But it speaks to the violence alleged in these allegations.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of these victims that were on the receiving end of some very, not implicit, but very direct violence against them. But there's an MO here. When you look at the range of these cases and what has been alleged, you kind of see an overwhelming theme, which is, he identifies somebody that he wants to either have sexual contact with, or he wants his cohorts to have sexual contact with. They are ultimately drugged in some way, typically through a drink, and then they end up, being murky, not understanding what's going on, and wake up the next morning, in some cases, without their clothes or shoes, confused, injured, and not knowing what to do. That is a reoccurring theme. And so how this was able to go on for so long, it's hard to fathom.
I'm going to tell you how this is able to go on so long. I'm going to tell you exactly how this is able to go along for so long. Because we as a society don't listen to victims. It's very simple. If we started listening to victims and stopped acting like these celebrities and these musicians and all these other politicians and all these fuck faces, where we stop treating them like gods and actually believe people. For years, survivors and victims have spoke up. They don't listen. We're liars. We don't know what we're talking about. We're gold diggers. We just want attention. Really? Do you know what kind of attention when you speak up that brings? As many of you all that love me and support me and are there for me, you know that there's just as many people times 10 that don't believe me. It's been like that for victims. I mean, some of you guys are victims. You don't have to speak up. There's things you've been through and people didn't believe you, or you didn't speak up because people wouldn't believe you. We have to stop creating a society like that. And until we do, this will continue to happen.
Because we know that a lot of this conduct occurred at venues, whether it be hotels, clubs, after parties, famous people's homes, publicized parties that are all over the internet. We can see the clips from them. And if you look at interviews that people that attended the party, when they get to the point of asking about certain things that would kind of get close to some of the conduct we're talking about, they go quiet. So this was a secret in the industry that everyone knew about. And I'm just very proud that the chips have started to fall. The Cassie.
That's right, Dark Raven. How you doing, baby? How you doing? I've been peeking in on your music you've been doing. I'm gonna get this fucking video uploaded eventually one of these days. Dark Raven made an amazing song for me, and it's such a beautiful song. I want to figure out how to upload it and make it on to where I can pin it on my. I'm gonna figure it out. I mean, I'm making some changes around, so we're gonna get some shit together. But Dark Raven's awesome. But you're right. And you're absolutely right. Okay, let me say this. You're right on that level to where if people don't believe, then fuck them, right? Right? Because I mean, I feel like you can tell when somebody's like just reaching, right? Like it's sometimes. Go to bed. Your eyes are tired. You heard. I just woke up, lazy. I just woke up. I'm tired because I fucking worked my ass off yesterday. Sunday and Mondays, I work pretty much all day. I take a couple hours off. Like I get off work at 5 in the morning, and then I go back to work at 1 o'clock. So Sunday and Monday is a little rough for me, but I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be all right. Lazy loves me. Holler. I forgot what I was. Oh, what was I saying? I forgot. It'll come back to you in a minute. I got distracted. If they don't believe you, then don't worry about it. And that's, I get that, but we have to get people to understand. I'm here. I just woke up, y'all. I'm here. I just have a black screen because I'm right now. I just got up. I'm literally sitting in my bed.
Was kind of the beginning of this, and then the investigation, and then the indictment, and then the arrest, and then the bail being denied, and now people are coming forward. In fact, we published a phone number for a abuse hotline yesterday, and it literally crashed. We had so many calls. So we have a great task in front of us of trying to sift through whether these folks who are calling are victims or have information.
Oh no, Lazy's good. Lazy's good. Dark Raven. We all tease each other a little bit, but no, Lazy's not a troll. Well, he is kind of a troll, but he's my troll, or she's my troll. Like they're good. They're good. They're friendly.
Obviously, you know that in these types of situations, there's people that just call for. And
just so you all know, my people are a little protective because again, the internet has been really, really rough for me the last couple of years. So they don't, they want to make sure everybody's good. That's all.
We have to sift through that, and we're going to do that. But I expect we'll start filing cases in New York federal court in the next 2 weeks to 30 days. And I expect we're going to be joining defendants in these cases that are going to raise some eyebrows. And I look forward to, to following this evidence wherever it goes.
I'm telling y'all.
Which begs the
Woo!
question,
Y'all better
Mr.
get
Busby,
ready.
and you
Y'all
bring up
better get
one of the
ready.
points that intrigues me and a lot of other people so much is that other people in the music industry had to know.
Yeah, they know.
Perhaps even cover up.
Yes, they
and
covered
as
up.
You may
The fuck?
allege
Are
in
you
the future
kidding me?
have taken a role in allowing Combs to do.
This shit's still going on. That's the crazy. This is the part that blows me, right? Because everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna," Right now, Diddy's allegedly in trouble for all this. Hey, school, how are you doing, sweetie? We're just doing a real quick video, real quick. Anybody can come back and listen later if they want to. So this one's an interview with Chris Hudson and the lawyer with the 120 victims. But this stuff, this is the sad part of the society that we live in, right? Because people have Stockholm syndrome when it comes to celebrities and shit like that. It's like you're in an abusive relationship with somebody you don't even fucking know, and then you wonder why, like, how victims can get pimped out. Whatever. Anyway, sorry. Victims have been speaking up on these celebrities for a long time, for a long, long, long time, and when if you guys, which there'll be those of us that pull paperwork when these court cases go, so we can see the names that will some be blocked out. And I know this because even the Epstein case, like the flight list and all that shit, people will argue like, well, this person, did they just flew the plane somewhere? It didn't mean they did anything. Oh, okay. Okay. They rode on the plane somewhere. It doesn't mean they did anything. Oh. Well, they're here, 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 here. Oh, and you know what? They also overlap with the other fucking trafficking cases that are going on. But I know, just continue to tell yourself whatever you have to. Instead of looking into your communities for heroes, stop looking for Hollywood and fucking music to save you. It can only do so much. We have to save ourselves. Our heroes should be our community leaders, our teachers, our nurses, our doctor. Well, fuck a doctor, because sometimes they cricket too. But you know what I'm saying. Sorry, this shit just... I've been screaming this, like, forever. And I'm not the only person. And it's just frustrating. Because we can continue to let it happen. And then we act shocked when it fucking comes out. Stop living in denial, people.
This. Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here.
I don't
have
get to.
Almost 100 new episodes on my streaming crime network. Watch TrueBlue.com.
Hold on, he's doing a little commercial.
For half off your first month or YouTube year.
Blah, 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 blah.
We'll see you soon on TrueBlue.
Yeah, I don't get to
It's my
walk
view
in
that
denial.
if
You
were in
guys
the
shouldn't
room,
either.
a minor's in the room being abused and you allowed it to happen, you have liability.
Yes.
It's my view that if you facilitated or egged that on in some way, you have liability.
Yep.
It's my view that if you provided the venue, knowing how he was and things that he was doing, along with the people that he was with, you have liability.
You better speak.
It's my view that if you knew as a hotel owner that he was renting out an entire floor and there were people appearing, multiple people, young women and young men who were appearing at the front desk, and you were not taking down their name, and you were sending them directly to his
he's one of my. I
floor,
love him to death.
you have liability. It's my view that if you're a bank and you knew that he was withdrawing hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash that was being used to pay for people to be shipped from all across the country as and trafficked.
Yep.
You have liability. I mean, I think the facets.
The new hashtag is, you have a liability. You cannot just stand by and watch this shit happen. You cannot just act like, well, I left the party early. I don't know what they talking about. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I stayed outside. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the fuck you do. Yeah, you do. Just like family secrets, people know about family secrets, right? Right? That uncle that still gets invited to the fucking Thanksgiving dinner when he's done tortured and traumatized every generation of fucking kids and people's families, but yet he's still at the fucking Thanksgiving dinner. We tell the kids to conform and not go around that uncle, not tell the fucking predator, get the fuck up out of here. So I'm expecting people to do this even with celebrities. I know I'm kind of delusional. I get it. But I have hope that one day someone will pay attention and listen. And those of us that get it, I'm not speaking to y'all. So don't get in your feelings. I'm speaking to the ones we're all frustrated about, that continues to turn a blind eye, that continues to carry excuses, that continues to make excuses. And that's what I'm sick of.
This, and everybody's really tuned into, who are the celebrities that might be named. But in my view, the more sinister element of this is all the corporations that benefited from this, and the venues that benefited from this.
I'm good, baby.
And
How
the
you
people that
doing?
profited from this culture that he created.
Travel pass.
And I look forward to peeling back every layer of that onion so we can all.
And listen, I like this lawyer. Listen, I think he's amazing. I like him. I like what he's doing. I like how he's not just concerned, which he's definitely concerned about the people that put an act in this. But if we're gonna listen, I do this work. I fight in the anti-human trafficking. I ran a shelter. I look for missing kids. There's fucking receipts out there on me on the work that I do. If we don't start holding, there's no video right now. There's the video. I'm just kind of doing it from my phones right now. I just want to jump on and sometimes I just do this because it cuts your senses down from sight, and it brings your senses of hearing. And my hope is that we're all listening together and we get to go hear what they're saying, but then also go over the video. You'll hear what I'm saying, and then you walk away from this video, I don't know, fired to do something in your community. That's my prayer.
See what was going on here.
And there is precedent for this. JP Morgan.
But I do panels and stuff, and I do things a little bit professional sometimes. But sometimes I just do this. Sorry.
Chase was held liable in the Epstein case, as I'm sure you know, and in human trafficking cases around the country. Hotel chains, major companies, have been held responsible for allowing this sort of human trafficking activity to occur on their properties.
Yeah, we know from the victims that it was routine for the so-called atmosphere. They had what they called atmosphere girls.
Yep.
Who would be shipped in, paid $10,000 per person to be there, and then coerced and bullied, and in some cases forced to do certain things that they didn't anticipate that they were supposed to be doing, and then held there, not allowed to leave. I mean, this is the kind of thing that was going on. It was going on at the same time that a lot of people, they were taking pictures. It's going on like literally right next to them. And some of the same pictures that you see on Instagram and other social media platforms. I think this is going to be even bigger than people can imagine.
100% it's going to be. 100%. What will be interesting to see, because I remember as a survivor advocate, I remember when the Epstein case happened. And anybody that goes back, you can go back and look at my videos. It's a whole journey. We went to the airport because I'm scared to fly. Went to New York. And I sat and I listened to everyone. I watched chats. I went and looked at news conferences, chats, and seeing what people were saying. And those that are close to me and was around me when all this was going on can tell you that it was pretty heartbreaking. It was pretty heartbreaking. And actually, there's a video of me in New York sitting somewhere. I'm going to find it. I'm going to put it on my community page. It's the photographer actually took a picture. I'm holding my gimbal. And he took a picture of my tattoo on my neck. But you can see my face in that picture. And I remember sitting on that stoop and I was just like, where's everybody at? And why don't people really care? You can see it all over my face. And I still feel that way some sense, because sometimes I listen and I'm very vocal about my story. There's tons. I have a documentary that's on my page. Just go look for it. I'm very, very public and always have been about it. Probably, honestly, the worst mistake I ever made was sometimes I feel, but not all the times, because I know it's helped people. And I'm very transparent. If you're new to my page, this is what we do over here. We talk reality. But I just remember sitting there and you could see it all over my face, and it was just disheartening. And I'm nervous in some sense, because I think that in some sense it's gonna happen again. Because it happens every time. You open up, you tell your story, you get used against you, you get shamed, you get called all kinds of different names. But then, then you can sit back and you can also watch, even while the abuse is happening to you, you know, like the people doing it they I don't understand it. I still, as an advocate, I mean, I do understand it because it's all about power and control. What I don't understand is why, like, regular people continue to fall for it. That's the part that I don't understand. And it worries me. My heart hurts for the victims that are to this case, and really all survivors of victims, because anytime shit like this comes out, I mean, it's all the same shit. It's all about power and control. And so when you watch it and then you watch society just once again make excuses, I think it's the little girl inside of me that's sad, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, the grown ass woman in me, I'm a warrior. And I try not to put a whole lot of emotions, but I still have that little girl inside of me that just doesn't understand why there has to be news stories, why there has to be huge cases, why there has to, and still people will be like, nah, y'all ain't never go digging whores. So, anyway, let's get back to this video because I'm talking way too much.
A sense of the volume of videotape and photographic evidence and recordings you have.
We are still sifting through hundreds of pictures and video. You know, some of it, it's without context. It's hard to even know what this even means, or what's, you know, how does this fit into.
I will say this, on a professional level, he is absolutely right. These hotels and different things, they turn a blind eye. They get paid at the front desk. You know what I mean? Like, they know what's going on. Now, I will say, over the last couple years, there has been a lot of fucking work. One of my survivor sisters, Teresa, she runs a project called Project SOAP, S.O.A.P. Go look it up. Trust me, you'll find out where it's at. You'll see it. Teresa Flores, I think is her name. She does amazing work. And I have been able to do, so she's gotten so big with what she does with hotels and stuff. Now what happens is you can call her, you can go to her website and you can request training material and different things to do stuff in your community. And what we do on Derby, so I assist with that here locally in Louisville. She does Super Bowls, anytime there's any kind of big sporting events, anything like that. Here in Louisville, we do this on Derby weekend, or anytime that there's a big thing going on, because we try to keep our hotel stocked. But we have soaps with the trafficking hotline. We have shower caps, we have face masks, we have different things like that that you can put in your bathroom, with the trafficking hotline on it. And so that way, if there is a victim there that may need some help or whatever, you know what I mean? Or also to bring alert to people that, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? We know the shit goes on in these hotels and we're watching and we're paying attention. So if you're doing stupid shit, this is the one thing I don't give a fuck if you go to jail on. If you're trafficking people, if you're buying and if you're selling people, like, and you know, I don't play that shit, especially when it comes to children. I don't. So we go into the hotels and we stock up all of the employees with that. Also the training, so they understand different things, right? So we'll hold events for the employees of these hotels, and we will do, like, usually somebody will do like a really cool PowerPoint training, you know, fancy pantsy, easy to digest type of shit, right? And then somebody like me comes along and shares their story. And I'm very blunt and very honest about shit. So, because I don't have time to explain things that you might heard and what might be going on. This is what we have to look for, because these events, children are being trafficked. And one thing I do not do is play about kids. So, so we go into the hotels and we do stuff like that. There's news stories. There's videos on my Facebook, on my YouTube. You can do it in your neighborhood, in your community too. All you have to do is go to the Soap Project's website, which if you Google it, it'll come up. Teresa Flores, reach out to her, ask them for the same, you know, how can they bring that to their neighborhood? They'll either sometimes in the beginning, if it's never been there before, they'll send a team out, and whoever is available that has done it before can come and train you guys and show you how to do it. It's really easy and it's very fucking effective. So, just saying.
The picture. I've been sent just unsolicited via email and direct message on social media, videos and pictures and stuff. So we're trying to sift through all that. So I couldn't even give you an estimate. You know, yesterday there was an individual who, of course, did not want to reveal who she was, but was texting me just video after video after video from some of these so-called freak offs. And I'm just looking at this stuff like, man, I wish this weren't on my phone, number one. And number two,
she was texting you on your personal phone.
Yeah.
Videos of these freak offs.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what does that say to you that somebody unsolicited feels so strongly about what's happened to her and others that she would send this material to you?
Yeah, and I'm trying to, and here I am trying to figure out. First off, I don't want this stuff on my phone, but laying that.
No, of course not.
I'm trying to figure out the context. Like, who are these people doing these things that you would typically wouldn't see, and obviously you couldn't show it to anybody in public. It's pretty graphic, but I've had we have this large team of people trying to field all these.
This is why I'm telling you all. This shit's not brand new. I know, I understand to some of you all, this is brand new. You never heard anything about anything like this. And this is a soul devastating, crushing moment, right? Like, I get it. And I sympathize with that. I know that I can be a little rough around the edges and I talk the way that I talk, but please understand that I have a lot of grace in my heart. Because I understand there's lots of reasons. And most of the people that I'm talking to, they're not here listening to us and they won't listen to my video, right? So I'm really probably half the time not even talking to any of us because I believe you guys get it to an extent because you're here. And you definitely care because you're here. I mean, even my trolls end up being cool with me. So, you know what I mean? Like, because when it's a good message, it's a good message. It's not about me bragging. It's not about any of that. It's about, I want all of us to be educated. I want all of us to be elevated so we can literally make a change. And I don't need people to write in comments. I just need you to listen. And then take whatever you think you can and maybe possibly passing it along to somebody else. You know what I mean? Or getting involved and getting help. Because I can promise y'all, dude, this shit's happening in such a... trafficking is happening, especially with teenagers. Dude, this shit is so through the fucking roof. People don't even get it. They don't understand it. Because we look for the QAnon theories. Why there is crazy shit that goes on. I'm not going to sit here and say that there isn't. I mean, there's a such thing as satanic trafficking, and I mean, there's deep dark holes, but the everyday shit that gets them to even go to any of whatever, if they get trafficked in a ring or something like that, we're missing the simple signs. We're not paying attention to the shit that we need to be paying attention, but we live in a society where we wait until the chaos is there, and then we're like, oh fuck, what do we do? What about some prevention? What about some paying attention? If we can do those things, well, that's how we'll cut down on child trafficking. 100%. But instead, we go for the, deep shit. And again, there's deep shit that goes on. But listen, people that are being trafficked, there's a process even in that. Because even if you end up getting snatched up or you get groomed and you end up falling into a trafficking ring, there's still a process of all that. Like, so they may not end up right in the Dungeon Dragon or something that you believe in your head is what trafficking is. It's happening right in front of you. Kids, victims, adult victims, doesn't matter. Your minds are there's so much breaking of you that goes on in the grooming process and after, once they got their claws into you, that you don't have to walk around with chains on. The chains is in your head. Why don't you leave? They'll kill my family. Why don't you leave? They'll kill my kids. Why don't you? Same thing with domestic violence. By the way. I mean, trafficking and domestic violence have a lot of the same characteristics. It's really just the pimp that's the difference in the action of being sold. In my opinion. Not everybody may agree with that, but the same abuse tactics, the same breaking you down, the same grooming, the same gaslighting, the mental shit, 100%, and the physical shit. It just, in domestic violence, the person isn't selling you to people. So that's the only action that, in my opinion, is different. So, I don't know. Let me shut up.
Calls and all these media or this internet contact, and trying to sift through that and screen that and get people to the next level to start talking to lawyers. And the difficulty, as you might expect, is what you want to do is you want to make sure that people believe, like you are believed. Okay, we believe victims. We're not here to cross-examine you at this point. We're not here to be skeptical. But at some point we have to be, because as you know, these are very difficult cases. These are difficult cases going against a powerful group of people. So at some point, when they get to the third level, hard questions have to be asked. And so we're there's a balance we have to cut here. We have to, on the one hand, make sure that people understand that we believe you. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear your story. We want to represent you and help you if we can. On the other hand, you need to understand that this is not going to be a cakewalk.
Nope.
This is going to be, there's going to be a lot of attention on this, and they're going to fight us tooth and nail. And the first defense is going to be, we don't know who you are, and you're just here to try to get money. And the second defense is, well, if you've proven that we were in the same room together, but we didn't do anything to you. And the entire defense is going to be, we're going to attack your character and your lawyer's character, and we're going to attack, from the very beginning. So I've been down.
And this is another course, right? So if survivors, because in my opinion, especially when they're on their way to justice, they're definitely survivors. But you get enough courage, you go to court, you get enough courage to press charges or try to, even if it's a civil suit, whatever, you get enough courage to come forward. This is, in a normal case, victims get shredded in court. It is the most heart-wrenching fucking thing to sit there as an advocate, right? And I've been thrown out of the courtroom a couple of times, by the way. Just saying. Because I'm not supposed to say shit. I'm not a fucking lawyer. But it's really hard sometimes, because now I will say that there are lawyers that are starting to be a little bit more gentle with victims, but the numbers of lawyers that are doing that is unfortunately not where it needs to be. No, she's not. I'm in contact with her. She's safe right now. So we're just gonna keep up and keep lots of prayers and good energy, please, to everybody in Florida. Because we're honestly, even people that are trying to leave right now, I really hope they can get off that highway before, because it is a fucking parking lot. My son's also staying down there as well. So, my son, my grandchild is there, because trying to leave, I mean, it's just, because it's the whole state. We have to understand that. This is not, usually, and I've lived in Florida during hurricanes. Usually it's like, certain areas will get hit, you know what I mean? But like, this is literally the whole fucking state. And they didn't think it was going to turn the way it was, but as Christine would say, and I'm not, talking for her, but it weeble wobbles. And so it weeble wobbled in the worst case scenario. And there's tons and tons and tons of people all from that state trying to get out. And there's tons of people stuck on fucking expressways. So you have to really ask yourself at some point, like, is it smart for me to just try to hunker down and prepare my home? And a lot of homes in Florida are, as best as they can, got some hurricane ready type shit. You know what I mean? Or am I going to get stuck on an expressway where there's really no chance in hell that if something, God forbid, happens? So again, my son and my grandchild's there, and they're going to be home, and my daughter-in-law. So there's a lot of us worrying. So please, everybody, please send lots of prayers. Please, I don't care how you feel about people. I don't care anything. Like, this is a time we really all need to come together and just, because this is scary, dude. Like, I mean, again, I'm kind of tripping because my son's like, nah, we hunker down. We got supplies. We got this. We got that. And I'm just like, because this is literally supposed to be worse than Katrina. So, yeah.
This road before. It's a difficult road, but the fact that we have 120 people who are willing to step forward, who have been vetted now and are
I love you,
ready
Christine.
and willing
Sorry.
and able to file their case. We're going to file them under the Jane Doe or the John Doe pseudonym, but we understand that eventually their names will be made public. I'm encouraging them to talk to the Homeland Security and the FBI I'm encouraging them to allow me to share their names and their information with the authorities. I'm encouraging them that at some point, let's step in front of a camera and let's tell your story, because there's probably many other people out there who, if they see you on the camera and they hear what you have to say and it happened to them, they'll step forward too. So that's kind of where we are in this. And, we're at the tip of the iceberg.
How many of your victims, Mr. Busby, were underage, were minors at the time of the offenses?
25 of the 120.
25.
25. We're talking about, and you would think that we're talking about females, but I was surprised, because I just expected these were all females, but of the 120 people, half are males, and of the minors, about half are males as well. We have a young man who was 9 years old at the time this occurred.
9 years old, Mr. Busby.
9 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, a 15-year-old. All of these are, with one exception, young men who were.
It sucks with this hurricane, because you got people that you love and there's nothing you can do. And every time I hear that, because that's what they're telling people to write their name and
trying to break into the industry. The 9-year-old young man was essentially, his parents responded to some sort of advertisements. Somebody was recruiting young people to break into the industry, and he made the various screening mechanisms they had, and him, along with 4 other boys, went and were able to meet Sean Combs, and his parents essentially handed him off to Sean Combs, and they alleged that they handed him off, and Sean Combs had his way with this child by coercing him and pressuring him and promising him things. And, to the point now that
I know, Christine, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm not like severely kind of worried and will be. And I know everything's going to be okay. I'm just a mom, you know what I mean? Like, and plus I love you a lot, but I'm very worried about my son and my grandbaby, my daughter-in-law. But I know that my son's, my son knows what he's doing, and it's going to be okay. It just, every time I think about that, because they've announced that, like, if you're saying that you need to write your name and your date of birth on your body just in case, like, that's insane to wrap around my head at the moment. But it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this. By Friday, everything's gonna be all right. Sorry, y'all. I'm a mom. I can't help it. Yep, we got this. God's got this. Everything's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Let's finish this video.
Just devastated this young man's life, who, he doesn't want to have anything to do with music. I mean, it was his dream to be a musician, doesn't want to have anything to do with music. Of course, his parents have shame and guilt because they helped facilitate that. And that's kind of a typical story of what we're talking about here. And I think it goes without saying that, and it shouldn't be this way, but it is this way, that it's even more difficult for a young man to come forward.
Yes, it is.
When this happens to him, because there is a stigma involved in that. So this is what we're dealing with, and at the same time trying to be sensitive. We've got to be aggressive and pursue the case and make sure we leave no stone unturned, and we gather all the evidence and we ask the hard questions of the clients. But on the other hand, we have to be sensitive, because this is tough stuff, and this young man's been living with this for a long time.
I can't imagine the shame, the degradation, the absolute destruction of a child's life being exposed to this at the age of 9.
You think about, this, at the time this happened, this allegedly happened, Sean Combs was the top of the music industry. It was well known that if he liked you, he could make you a star. And that's what the parents were excited about. Obviously, the young man was excited about. And then this happens. It's like he's just on the scrap heap of history, if you will. just devastates. I don't want to be too pessimistic, because my hope is that the young man has a long, productive life. But boy, it's hard when something like this happens to you.
When you're a child and something like this happens to you, you're fucked for the rest of your life. Even with the best therapy, even with the best support, it's hard because it's a Pandora box that's not supposed to be open at all. um, and that's why I'm so passionate about people understanding this and getting it. And I hope that we can get in a space to where it's people understand that children, when this happens, they have to get therapy then. Like, they can't wait till they're adults. Like, they need to be able to have a space to where they can come and tell somebody and then get the help that they need, because unfortunately we created a society where that doesn't is not really there, you know. um People get shamed, people get victimized, people listen to this, you know what I mean? Like, when one of us that speak up and step forward and say, hey, this has happened to me, blah 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 blah, there's other people that are, like, sitting by silently just watching. And like I said, why there's tons of poor people that I have hundreds of thousands of people that support me, you know what I mean? Like, especially on all my social platforms. And I love every single person that pours into me, but just as many, there's just as many that, you know what I mean? So when victims see that, or, it's, say, their mother that's talking shit to somebody that's a victim and trying to shame them, well, then that child knows they can't go to their mom. We don't think about shit like that, right? So
In terms of
we got to stop creating that
predatory
society.
behavior, you've investigated victims whom you've represented. Where does this case rank, Mr. Busby?
Okay.
A lot of the cases that I've had, the conduct has been secret, private. There were some suspicions, but it was private. And it was usually one person on one person. And of course, when you have this predilection like this, it happens over and over.
Yep.
It doesn't just happen once. Typically, when something like this happens, you can bet that it's probably happened more than once. What's different about this case, in my view, is that this was not a secret. I mean, some of this behavior was happening in the presence, and I'm not just talking about in the presence, because Sean Combs never went anywhere without bodyguards, never went anywhere, never traveled anywhere without some sort of entourage or posse, if you will. And certainly those people knew what he was up to and knew what his inclinations were. But what's more disturbing about this is that at some of these after parties weren't just 4 or 5 people.
Right.
These after parties were people that knew that about 1 o'clock, there was going to be a shift in this party, and things were going to be different. This was not going to be, the party that you see on Instagram and so forth. I mean, some of the conduct occurred during the main party, but the most sinister conduct occurred in the so-called after parties, and those were not small affairs. And so you wonder, you have people of note, people who are known, who attended some of these and knew about some of this behavior going on. I mean, there was no secret that people were being flown in. I mean, there's no way you could not know that unless you were there's just no way you could not know that.
Right.
And the things that were going on in the presence of people of names that we've all heard, in venues that we all know, in people's homes that we all know, and how it went on for 25 or more years without anybody saying anything. You've heard some celebrities say, hey, I would never go to a Diddy party. There's a group of celebrities out there who are making that more and more well known, because obviously what's going on. But how did this go on for so long without anyone saying, enough is enough of this? I'm going to speak out about this.
And in his initial press conference, right, he said that there were victims that had hospital reports, had reports of their blood being tested and having things in their system that they didn't know that were in there. There's been grape kits done. There's even been police reports made, and none of it went anywhere. Just saying. That's how this continued to happen. Because of the power, the intimidation, the payoff, the people being unalived, cars being blown up. And the video that we seen Cassie went through, if you think that's the first time he did that to her, he was very comfortable with whooping her ass in that hallway. So that tells me that he has done that numerous fucking times, and he don't give a shit. Somebody of that caliber knows there's video cameras everywhere. Everyone knows there's video cameras in hotel hallways.
I know he's a powerful person. I know he's connected with some powerful people. I know that, politically he's even connected, and maybe there's an element of some sort of criminal element here that could be a danger. But I'm going to say something, because what I'm seeing is not correct. It's not right. And I don't want to be a part of it, and I don't want to be associated with it. But you never heard that. You heard people like Cat Williams who have said some things years back. 50 Cent has said some things about that. You've heard interviews here and there about when people ask about Sean Combs's parties, they grow silent and it's kind of hush hush. I can't talk about that. But why didn't they ever say something? Why did they allow this to happen and continue to happen? It's my view that if you continue to attend those parties knowing what was going on and not saying anything, how are you not complicit in some way?
Do you have witnesses, insiders who are willing to cooperate in this case?
I think so. I also think that certainly have witnesses who saw this, who weren't involved, but are willing to have nothing to gain, who are willing to talk. I expect that some of the people that were the closest to Sean Combs, who are with him at all times, will probably talk. I think, the federal government is really good, as you know, at getting people who are not the targets to talk. I expect that'll happen. I expect the indictment and the charges in the indictment will grow. I expect that other people will be implicated. So I think that, like I say, I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg here. And, what I'm most interested in is every single person who is victimized come forward now. There's a reason that New York State and California have very long statutes of limitation for these types of crimes, because people are very, very, if they don't cry out immediately, then it gets harder and harder as time passes for them to come forward, because they're going to be, the first thing people say is, why didn't you come out immediately? Because a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to say, hey, this person did this to me, because there may be financial repercussions, safety concerns, family repercussions, backlash from their community. People can be, there's a reason for this, this word fan is short for fanatics. And people can be really mean and nasty. And when you're dealing with a alleged criminal element, people should fear blowback. Yeah, there's blowback. And, even for me, I've been, you can only imagine, I'm sure for you too, the kind of messages you get on social media of people, they're going to do this to you and they're going to do that, or to your wife. And, I've had, my wife told me last night, we're going to have to get, because I have security at my house, but you're going to have 24-hour security. I'm thinking, come on, that's just a bunch of foolishness, but who knows?
It's real. I've seen it personally, and you're out there trying to do the right thing and expose evil actors, and, there can be blowback from those people and their associates. 100%. There's no question. What, before I let you go, Mr.
Him and the victims need to make sure their heads are on swivel on everything, because it is one thing, again, we talk about like local or just regular people cases, and we see the news lines. People die all the time. People get hurt all the time in cases. You have something this big with this many powerful people. Listen,
Mr. Busby, and I know you're a busy fellow. One last question. What does this say about this particular segment of the music industry that, as you have said and has been proved, look the other way on this?
I call it the facilitators. Obviously the people that participated in this are terrible.
Right.
It's terrible actions and terrible conduct, and should be prosecuted and put underneath the jail. But You know, what really irks me
Yep.
are the people that saw this happening,
Yep.
that enjoyed themselves while it was happening, that fancied themselves as upstanding people and knew this was happening and continued to go to these parties knowing this was going to happen,
Yep.
and that were, in my view, are just as complicit.
Yep.
And whether they, you know, they can be criminally charged or even civilly sued, these people should know
Yep.
that they knew and they didn't do anything about it.
I agree.
Tony Busby from Houston, thank
100%.
you.
100%. And I think, and like I said, I think in my opinion, that's I love that he is actually doing this, because yeah, we've seen it a little bit. You know, there were some hotels and different things like that held responsible in Epstein's case. But this being it so big, and there's going to be so many powerful people that are going to try to escape from certain shit. And so, you know, I'm really really glad that he's going after yeah, you know, the facilitators. So, and the people that do, because okay, fine, you went to one party and whatever, but you kept going back. You knew that was going to happen. There's no excuses. And again, victims have been speaking up for years. If you keep your ear to the ground in the music world or even the Hollywood world, there's the same fucking names pop up. Politicians, it's the same people. So, anyway, all right, y'all. Well, I'm going to jump off here because I have to work tonight and I'm going to chill. And probably, I think the People's Podcast is live, so I'll probably go over there and hang out. If one of our mods wants to drop their link, they can. That'd be awesome. Otherwise, you could just look it up, the People's Podcast. I'm going to chill a little bit after doing the show. So, I will talk to y'all later. Everybody have a great day, and we'll do some more listen-ins and see what's going around on the web, see what they talking about. Holler. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. If you're going to be a part of the problem, be the whole fucking problem. And start believing survivors. Holler. Stand with survivors always.